the country. So, because his name is Eleshi, they felt he was from, the south, or no, the west, and they took him to the north. I came from the south, and they took me there. And so we met, that was in 98, 99. And it wasn't a case of, oh, I'm going there to look for husband. No. I was going there because I was running away from my parents. So they tried to, you know how we do it, tried to influence my posting. It didn't work. And when I saw my posting, it was GB. And I'm like, where is GB? I said, laugh. I said, it's Great Britain. I'll be the first Nigerian that will be sent abroad for NYC. So that's how it's going to be. I said, oh my God. Okay, let's go. So I wanted to be far away from home because all through I've been at home. I schooled in Edo State. But luckily, I went there because my mom actually tried to influence it. We had somebody that was a neighbor that was working with NYC, and she tried, and it didn't work. She said, well, everybody I did for it, they were able to change. Okay, go. When you come back, we'll change. I said, I'm not changing anything. I'm going. And thank God I went. And our meeting was interesting in the sense that I am totally extroverted. My husband is totally introverted, as in, I'm a sanguine choleric. He is a phlegmatic and melancholy, So basically, we're two different people. But we met because we had similar values. I believe in family. I love God. But as at the time I was in NYSC, I was not such a God lover. I've loved God from my young age. I got baptized at age 10, Central Baptist. My parents are Baptist. Or should I say my mom is? Central Baptist. So I grew up with the Sunbeam, GA, Lydia, and stuff like that. And so going to the north and meeting him, it was love for God and the values. Because I always had this sense of purpose that, I will marry someone that is either I'm ministering, he's singing, or he's ministering, I'm singing. So I had this crazy idea of ministry, and all my life I used to read books and things of ministry. Catherine Kuhlman was one of the role model I had. If you see my clothes now, it's not really Catherine Kuhlman age, but a bit of it. Okay? Just the hand, you understand? So I grew up with that sense of purpose, not even knowing what it will be like. I just knew that I had to get my marriage right. My parents have been married, this year will be 50 years. And they're still together. Okay? So I knew they were friends. They will have disagreements, but they were still together. They will have drama, they're still together. They're still together till now. And for me, that was very, very key. So if I want to share my story of how we got married, I would say for me, I was reading the book, The Fourth Dimension. It's an old book by Paul Yonggi-Chu. And in The Fourth Dimension, he talked about a lady that wanted to get married and wrote the values she wanted, the things she wanted in a man. So in my house, in my father's house, I had this wardrobe that I would write. I'm an intercessor in terms of I love prayer. I'm a prophetess. That's another part of me. But I love praying. So I put like 7 points. And some of the things I put there was love for God. Somebody that was kind. Somebody that understood his purpose. So I put like 7 things there. And it was not about being tall, dark, and handsome. That was not what I was looking for. First of all was the person's heart. Does he have the mind of Christ? Even when I was not sure of my identity in Christ as much as I'm sure now, I knew that it had to be somebody that loved God and then loved people. I'm a people's person. So by the time I met him, he ticked some of the boxes. And then the meeting was also, I have the gift of dreams. So I will see this young man give me flowers in the dream. And we're not so close. So I'm like, what is happening? You know, what is happening? But along the line, I had people that were supportive. You know, people that were supportive. I had to tell my younger sister my dream. She used to be like in the Lydia, in Edo State then, and was it the president or something? She had a lot going for her. And so I'll tell her, and she will say some things prophetically and say, this is the person, this is what is happening, don't be confused, just stay. Because I had a lot of confusion going on. But God took charge, and today we're here. This is almost 19 years. 19 years married this year. And in terms of being friends, we've been friends since 98. So that's my story of how we.
Can they change the slides, please? So the next slide is what Paul, the Pope, Paul, said. He says, as the family goes, so what? The nation. I'm not lying to you. The family sets the pace. The nation what? Follows. Let me say better. If the family is mumuish, forgive my language. You know, you call mumuish. There's challenges. There will be challenges what? In the nation. I'm just telling you. He said, so goes the nation, so goes what? The world in which we live in. If the family is beautiful, so I'm looking forward to you guys building families that are strong. Don't forget what we said. Success is heavier. Families that are held by strong values. So next slide, please. Next slide. Next slide. So I will tell you my own part of the story. So we served in Gombe, and because Gombe Gombe is not far from Jos, if you know that side of the world. Gombe is not far from Jos. Your future, the person you decide to get married to, my wife will talk about it now very quickly, and I will give you a bit of perspective. Who you decide to partner with, please, critically, let it be driven first from your values. So towards end of NYSC, my boss, Malam, said to me, sir, we met during NYSC, but I did not say come and marry me during NYSC. It was after NYSC, I was so in love with her, I took a one-way transport trip to Benin. Not by air, by bus. I could not afford it. I took a one-way trip to Benin to ask this babe. And she asked me when I got there. She asked you, what entered your head? No, have you taken it? I went to buy 500, it was 700, 800 naira, yes, I think something like that. Boss, and you didn't have transport to come back. But I was too sure that this princess will, queen, will accept my, my token of love from my heart, not my pocket. My token of love. Guess what, guys? It was during NYSC that I met her, and my boss now said, come for a dinner. She was by the side. I said, he now said, come with your girlfriend. And I didn't have any girlfriend then, but we knew each other. So I said, Bridget, will you follow me? She said, she loves food. So she said, let's go. This is a pure Hausa Malam's house. We got to the house. He served us rice. They usually eat tuwo. I don't know if you know, this is tuwo with me and cook or something like that. They call it all kinds of things. Beautiful stuff. So they served us, the guy served us rice. Hausa Malam's house. After we finished, you won't believe what happened. My wife packed the plates. I was going to wash them. I nearly fell out of my chair. So in a Hausa Malam's house, the women are not seen. I was shocked. I could not believe this fine, beautiful, adorable lady full of character. I couldn't believe it. I mean, that day, I started, Tunde, where have you been? Where have you been? That was a spark that happened in my heart. That was the spark. Okay? So, very important. As we said here, your partner what? Your future. Your future. So you have to think about it. Where is your life going? Now, is it compulsory you get married? Sincerely speaking, not compulsory. But what is him that is alone? I say it again, please. We were in a meeting some years ago, last year, 2 years ago, sorry. A lady said something that struck me. He said, one, chase 1,000. Two, put what? 10,000 to flight. He said, anytime you're not working with your partner, you are leaving 9,000 on the table. The marriage union, the strength of it is more than multiplication. And if you ask me any day, how is my wife? I tell you she's beautiful. She's beautiful. She's beautiful. Why? Because that gives me the strength to keep on going. To keep on going. So what do you look out for if you want to get married? Very important. Please. Please. Number one. Guys, number one. Look out for character. Look out for character. Number two. Is this a friend material? My brothers asked me a question. Today you don't have any job. And you want to get married. This was in 2001. I got married in 2003. I said, I don't have any job. Sorry, I have a job, a small job. But I know where I'm going. I have found a help suitable. that will walk with me. Guys, the marriage journey is stormy, but it's beautiful when you walk together. When you walk together. Okay? So my wife will say 2 short points because of our time. Then we now talk about some values. We have values that we have lived by. So can you go to the next slide? So I defined values as 1,000 decisions made up front. 1,000 what? Decisions. 1,000 what? Decisions. So I give a small example. A very small example. And I just take example. What's your name? Yes. Fee. What's your best course in school?
Subjects.
Yes. Anatomy. You're a medical student. Huh? Okay, anatomy. Why do you like anatomy? The body. Am I right? So in your mind, you really like it. So you have decided in your mind that you love anatomy. Am I right? When you get into class, if the teacher just annoys you, will you still continue it? Why? Because you have decided. Am I right? That's how value works. If you decide to be an honest person, when this honesty appears, it doesn't move you. It doesn't move you. The reason why you came to this place today is because you value knowledge. You value knowledge. Or let me say this way: the reason why you go to a meeting on time is because you have decided you will show up. Because of that, it drives your decision. So your values are what? 1,000 decisions, figuratively, please, you've made upfront. So in my own family, next slide, please, quickly, because I know our time. Next slide. In our family, we have decided these 5 values, and I'll leave it to my wife. 5 values. Lifts for us. L-I. Thank you.
Okay, so our values are love, integrity, faithfulness, togetherness, and service. So we love God, we love ourselves, and we love others. We have integrity with God, with ourselves, and with others. We are faithful to God, faithful to ourselves, and faithful to others. We have togetherness. Everything we do as a team. So even when we're serving, we do medical outreach, we do a lot of stuff. Our children are part of us. This is our family magazine. This is the 3rd edition, which we printed in 2020. So we've had 2 other editions before now, and then we're coming up with the 4th one. So if you notice, it's all of us on the cover, and it will always be like that till Jesus comes. We are like the complete family. And then inside the magazine, you'll find out that our children write. Grace writes, David writes, Davina writes. It's deliberate. Why? Because we want to live our message as a family that is together. Bible says, behold how good and how pleasant it is for brethren. So my husband used to say, my son is not God's grandkid. Our son is still God's son.
So
Our daughters are not God's grandbabies.
Yeah, let me tell them that story.
Okay.
So David annoyed me this day. He so annoyed me. I was so annoyed. I mean, if you have a younger brother that annoyed you, I was very annoyed that day. And I went, instead of beating him, I didn't know how to beat him. So I went to God, what did I do to this boy? And God asked me a question. Do you think David is my grandson? I never thought about it like that before. He said, he's my son. So better think about what you do to him.
Treat him like a brother.
Like a brother. The only difference is that you are ahead of him. Okay? So your values help you. The next slide, please. Your values help you to build a strong foundation for a good life.
Okay? And it helps you make right decisions, which we've said before. If you have values when you want to marry, if you believe in being fit, you will also look for a lady or a guy that loves fitness, that wants to eat right, that wants to, live a healthy life. If you value honesty, you're looking for someone that will tell you the truth. Even if he's in the trench or she's in the trench, she's telling you the truth. Okay? So value will help you make the right decision. And finally, it helps you build trust and social capital. When you have value, what happens is, if you tell me it's morning, I don't go and check if the sun is up. I believe you that it's morning because I trust you. So once you have value, so we always tell young people, marry your value. Don't marry because this person has figure 8, or because figure 8 can go. When they start having babies or anything happen. I've seen people that had accidents and they had their face disfigured or body parts disfigured. Are you getting me? So it's not the shape, it's the person. So the trust for the person, what value will help you do is it will help you trust the person. And then social capital, you can cash out on value. There are people, if we mention Team Election now, they can borrow you a certain amount. Why? Because they know we're people of integrity. And say, oh, if it's Team Election you're associating with, we will go with you. If it's these people, okay, I'm fine with it. Why? Because over time, they've seen us being consistent with our values. It's our values that brought us here today. Why? We loved what we saw Pastor Lan and the team doing. And because service is part of our values, and love is part of our, because this is love, you know? People that left their home abroad to come, and then we left Lagos to come here. It's only love that can propel you to do this. So it's part of our value to be involved in everything that has love, that has integrity, that has faithfulness, that has togetherness and service. Final slide, please. So what are the benefits of godly values? When you have value in a family.
So you will build a proper home. So that's my daughter and our brother. They called us in the school. They're in a school in Lagos, Caleb British International. So they recognize students that have 90 and above. And they change their tie. So if you notice, they are both wearing a golden tie. So the school called us and said that these kids have excelled. And one thing we do, why taking them to school? We take them to school, my wife and I together. They're going to school tomorrow. Because of this meeting, we are pushing it and other things. We're pushing to Monday. We tell them 5 things. Number 1, make sure you are close to God. Number 2, make sure you pass your exam. Number 3, do an extracurricular activity. Number 4, have great character. Okay? Very important. Okay? Number 5, make sure you have good friends. And 6 ones, have pure thoughts. So we tell them this every time. Every time they go, it's like a song. It's like a song. So I'm saying this, that you must have a routine. Have a routine. That's what happens. So the benefit of it is you will destroy issues, reduce social nemes.